Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, and by the title of building out my $500,000 high yield cover call portfolio, this is just hypothetical. Well, might be hypothetical to you, but this is actually what I'm doing. I decided I need to consolidate. I need to have a plan. I need to look at where these funds are going. I have huge diversification. And by the way, I'm not selling off all my other funds. My business development companies, my master limited partnerships, all that is staying. Some of them will be getting a haircut because they're up 20% and it's time to take a little profit off the top. Now, this isn't for everyone. This is not financial advice. But if I was building a portfolio for $500,000 of high yield ETFs, this is what I would do. And for you, it might be hypothetical. For me, this is real world. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just some guy on the internet sharing his experience. Unfortunately, today was distribution day for a lot of these ETFs, so I can't show balances to some of these funds. Some of these funds are low in balances, so I'm going to have to build them out. But this is how I'm going to build out my high yield ETF to $500,000, and how much income can I expect from those $500,000. Other things that I've taken into consideration is this whole philosophy that everybody cries about like on a daily basis on the comments is NAV erosion. I've chosen funds that have as close to zero NAV erosion as I can. So if you're expecting to see XDTE and RDTE and QDTE in this list, you're not. They're not in these funds. If you're expecting to see yield max, come on. All I can do is laugh. Now, am I selling any of these funds? No, not at all. Will I be using profits from XDTE and RDTE and QDTE to help fund these funds? That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'll also be taking funds from my business development company as they start to pay me distributions. I'll start taking 80% of that on top of what I need to live on and build these up to $500,000. So let's talk about where am I today. I have some of these already built out, but I'm picking these funds for me. First fund I want to pick out is 9% into AIPI. That's a big one. AIPI is currently right around 34%, 35% in distributions. I'm going to call it 34. And I feel over the next 10 years that AI is going to be a dominant factor. Market up, down, doesn't matter. Everybody's worried about, oh, but the market crashes. So what? I still get my distributions. I still get my funds. Anyway, let's go on to my next pick. 9% is going to go to FEPI. But you kind of already guessed that if I owned AIPI and where that was going, I'm going to join into FEPI. Why not? Currently, FEPI's paying about 25%. At least $1 every month per share. That's a good number. And the next one is GIAX. I did a review on this yesterday. This is going to be 10% of my portfolio. Why is it going to be 10%? Because of the diversification of the fund. This fund is probably more diversified than your portfolio. Just a wild guess that this is probably way more diversified than the average person's portfolio. is paying 24%. So the next three funds, I'm just going to go out, throw this out. The next three funds are all NEOs. I chose NEOs because of how they're paying. They're paying a nice rate, not the highest rates, but a nice rate. But if you look at SPYI, correct me if I'm wrong, but its NAV is up 7%, and it's paying 12. Okay. IWMI. NAV is up. How can you complain? QQQI. The NAV erosion story just kind of disappears when you go into these funds. Now, they don't pay the 20%, 25%, 50%, 105%. No. They're paying 12 to 14%. Very reasonable funds. The last one is SPYT. It's paying right around that 20%. And why wouldn't I not be getting into SPYT? Now, somebody can go, well, how about QQT and this and that? I'm going to say no. I'm going to go with a consistent, very reliable horse. Just where I'm going. I already have enough with AIPI and FEPI into stocks that make up QQQ. I don't need that much more into the NASDAQ. Taking a little bit more of a conservative. Now, again, I'm not getting rid of all those other ones. I'm not getting rid of my master limited partnerships. I'm not getting rid of TLTW. God, why would I get rid of that? I mean, I think since my video of TLTW, it's up like 6%. So NAV erosion is non-existent on a 15% yield. I think that is what you should be looking for. SPYI, keeping it. All those funds are staying, but those funds will also help me fund this. And hopefully in the next week or two, I'll show you exactly how these are totally funded. Like AIPI is totally funded. FEPI is totally funded. So I'm already there. I'm also trading TMF. Why would I not be trading TMF? I mean, literally, I've told you that treasuries are going to go up. So why would I not be selling calls and puts on TMF and making 35% on my calls? But eventually that one day will stop. Right around the next rate cut, I'll stop this milking the market for what it's worth. I mean, literally they're handing me money, and why would I not take advantage of the system? Because the system's there to be taken advantage of. But those funds will help me fund my SPYT and the rest of them. So what does this actually look like for income? I'm showing you exactly how much money is going to be in each one of these portfolios. What is my expected income? Just over $93,000. That normally takes over somebody's paycheck. I will be taking XDTE and QDTE and taking those distributions into these funds to build these out over time. Let's face it, GIAX I only purchased this week. So I don't have very many shares, and I have to build it up to $50,000. That's a little bit to build up, but it may take me a few months, scraping from here, scraping from there, and these funds will be built out to $500,000, paying me $93,000, thereabouts. I mean, I'm not going to get I'm definitely not going to get upset at all if it only comes in at 90,000. I'm not even going to get upset if it comes in at 80,000 at all. No reason to get upset. I have a very diversified portfolio that I've shared. I'm not going to share how much I have in all those, and I'm not going to share how much I have in the NASDAQ and the actual SPYI. Well, anyway, I think having this will give me a great base to live off of. And then you take my CLOs and my preferred stocks and my business development companies and my master limited partnerships. You take those all into account. My income is just fine. I just wanted to share with you what's going on, where I'm thinking, and I don't want to be chasing. That's another important thing to think about. You'll notice that I've done videos on all these funds because this is my research. My videos are my research on what I'm going to put my money into. I'm only recently retired. I've been income investing, kind of chasing here, kind of chasing there. So I know the process. If you watched the most recent video about the income factory, Steven was on the other day and he explained that he doesn't have high yielding ETFs because that's not what his background is. He's in the CLOs. He was a banker. He gets it. He understands that market. I'm into options because I option trade. I'm into indexes because I've been following the indexes. I got into some individual stocks as an experiment, keeping them. Misty, keeping it. Gosh, who would sell Misty right now? That's my Bitcoin play. All right, so NVIDIA, have you seen NVIDIA? I chose these stocks because I understood the market. Somebody asked me about oil and gold miners. I don't have 10,000 hours invested into understanding gold and oil. If I had 10,000 hours of actual study time in understanding the price of gold and understanding the price of oil, then hey, I would be in those funds, but I don't. Now I have more than 10,000 in options. I have more than 10,000 hours studying Bitcoin. I have more than 10,000 hours studying indexes. I have more than 10,000 hours studying stocks. I'm sticking with what I know. And I strongly encourage everybody to stick with what you know. Nothing wrong with gold miners if you studied it. Nothing wrong with oil if you studied it. Can you tell me the price of oil going which direction? I can tell you the price of treasuries because I've studied it. I haven't studied the rest of it. So, in closing, study what you're putting your money into. Learn about it as much as you can. Read as much as you can. Watch other YouTube videos as much as you can. I watch other people. I still learn from other people. I learn what they're doing, their tricks, how they're doing things. That's important. I don't have a magic wand for everybody, but this is what I'm doing. Sharing what funds I think are safe to build a complete retirement around. And again, no one fund going to zero is going to ruin my retirement. Not even investing $500,000 into these funds will not take my account to zero and not ruin my retirement. It just won't happen. One other comment that was made, and I think this is important. Only have the amount of money involved in these funds as you need to. I'm only going to have enough money in all these different funds to live off of. I still hold the S&P 500. I still hold the Russell 2000. I now hold Berkshire Hathaway. I don't plan on selling those anytime soon. It's just my safety net. Now, I'll tell you, I don't have bonds. I have no interest in bonds. How many hours do you have in bond study? None. I don't know the bond market. I couldn't tell you the direction of bonds and where bonds are going, just like I can't tell you the direction of oil. No clue. Right? Gold I can kind of guess because it's kind of tracking with Bitcoin just at a slower rate. So those are my thoughts for today, sharing where I'm going. And I will make this another broadcast that I'll put out probably once a month of where these funds are at and show you what's actually in my account. All right, and then we'll build these out over the next 2 to 3 months. And you'll enjoy the journey as well as I will. Until next time, God bless. So the next one is JA. I'll still be able to reinvest in these at a lower price and even make more money. I actually want the market to crash. I want it to go down 50%. Let's just take the market down 75%. Then I can buy more. So people, please understand. You're into this because you actually want the market to crash. It's a covered call. It's a bearish move, not a bullish move. If you want to be in the bulls, you need to get into 2x leverage, not income investing. So I don't care if the market goes down 50, 70, 90%. Let's go 90. Then I can really start investing. That's my opinion. And you know what? I lived just fine through the next Great Depression. Let somebody get into office and just destroy the market and just destroy it, because I'll be making money and you'll have a job.